Hi, I'm Jackie and welcome to Jackie Wall Studio. Today I'll show you how to crochet this beautiful sunflower granny square step by step. This crochet granny square is perfect for blankets, bags, pillows, table runners, and so many other creative projects. I'll guide you through every stitch using North American crochet terms, making it easy to follow along whether you're adding to your granny square collection or trying a sunflower design for the first time. I will be using a 5mm crochet hook today. Of course, you'll need some scissors, something to weave in your ends. This is a tapestry needle, but a darning needle or even your hook will work. And of course, I have some stitch markers here, or safety pins work, or even just a piece of yarn. And I will be using 100% cotton yarn. The center of our sunflower is 16 double crochets. I will be using a magic ring, but feel free to use 4 to 6 chains that you slip stitch into a ring. So to get started, you can start traditionally with the 3 chains. What I like to do is actually come up with a single crochet and then just a chain on top of that for my first double crochet. So that's 1, and we will proceed to do 15 more for a total of 16 double crochets for the center of our sunflower. 2 more to go. There we go, 16, and then of course I will pull that nice and tight. And I am going to do a seamless join. So that means I will cut this off right here and I'll pull this through, and then I will find my first stitch, which is right here, but I'm not going to put the seamless join into the first stitch. I'm going to put it into the second stitch. I'm going to pull from the front to the back my yarn, and as you can see, I'm in effect making another stitch right there. Then I go through the back loop and down the back. Make sure that looks really great, and then I will proceed to work that in 2 or 3 different ways to make sure it stays secure. I have tied my yellow yarn onto the back loop only of one of my previous stitches, and we are basically going to work double crochet clusters. So you can start with 3 chains if you like, but once again I am going to just put my hook through that back loop only and bring up a loop for myself to work with. Then I'm going to go through the front loop and back loop, come up, and I am going to do the same as I did to start the last round, and that is a single crochet followed by a chain to act as my first double crochet. Then I'm going to yarn over, go through that same spot, yarn over, come through, and I'll have 3 loops on my hook, yarn over, go through 2 of those loops, yarn over, go through the same spot, yarn over, come through, 4 loops on my hook, yarn over, come through, and then I am going to go through all 3 of those loops, but we're not going to stop there. Okay, I paused there to grab a stitch marker to just mark off these 3 loops that we just went through. Just wanted to show you that these 3 we are going to be working into those 3 loops in a second. First, we are going to do 3 chains, 1, 2, 3. Then we are going to take our hook and we're going to go through those 3 loops. We're going to yarn over and come through, and we're going to slip stitch that into that last chain. And that is our first petal. Now to work the next petal, we are going to start right from there and start our cluster in the next stitch of our previous row. So I am going to yarn over, I'm going to go through that next stitch. I'm also going to work my yellow yarn through. I'm going to come through, pull through, yarn over and pull through, so you have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and go through 2 of those loops, yarn over, go through that same spot, yarn over, come through, 4 loops on your hook, yarn over, go through 2 of those loops, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, go through that same spot, yarn over, come through. Now you have 5 loops on your hook, yarn over, go through 2 of those. Now you have 4 on your hook, yarn over and go through all 4 loops this time, but we are only going to use those 3 loops right there to work our chain through. So from here, we chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Just let me get rid of that tail there. Okay, now we won't work through this link between the 2 petals. We will only go through those 3 loops of the actual petal. And once again, go through, yarn over, come through, and slip stitch right into that last chain. And there we have our second petal. All right, let's work one more together. So yarn over, go through the next spot. Yarn over, come through, yarn over, go through 2 loops, 2 loops on your hook. Yarn over, go through, yarn over, come through, 4 loops on your hook, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through the same spot, yarn over, come through, 5 loops on your hook, yarn over, go through 2, 4 loops on your hook, go through all 4 of those loops, chain 3, but now you only want to go through the 3 loops of your petal, yarn over, come through those 3, and then slip stitch into that chain. And now we have 3 petals completed. Work your way all the way around so that you have 16 petals, and I'll meet you at the end to join. Once you have finished all your petals and you come to that last spot where you slip stitched those chains through those 3 loops on your petal, just take your hook and go to the back of the first petal, and there's 2 little loops right there. Just go into those 2 little loops, yarn over and come through, and just slip stitch that in there. Now I want to make sure this does not come apart, because we are going to be working in between those petals. So to do that, I am going to not pull my yarn through. I'm going to take the end and put it through the last loop. Okay, and I'm going to pull that tight. But then I'm going to take my end of my yarn and go through that loop right there, and then pull that tight, and that gives you a very, very secure knot. You do feel it a little bit, but that's okay, because we're going to be working right over top of it and you won't notice it in the end. So here's what it looks like after we finish our yellow petals. You might have to kind of peek those tips a little bit, but don't worry about that too much right now, because we have to work in between each of those petals, and these are going to get buried for a little bit till we pop them back through. The next color, we are going to work in between these petals into this little gap underneath that little slip stitch between the petals. So what I'm going to do is tie on to the back loop of that gap, and then I am going to be able to start a single crochet right away. If you want to start with your chain for your crochet, that's fine, but I am going to just slip my crochet hook in between there, pull up, and then go through both of those and do my first single crochet. I am going to mark that one off right there, just so I don't lose that first stitch. And then I'm going to put, whoops, 2 more single crochets in between those 2 petals. And that will be the entire next row, is going to be single crochets in between the petals. 3, 1, 2, 3 single crochets in between that petal, and then 3 single crochets in between the next petal, and then 3 more. Now if you look right here, there's kind of 2 little areas where those petals are joined. Just go below the top one, and I'll put 3 more in here, and then we will work independently to finish our 3 crochets, 3 single crochets between all of the petals, and I'll meet you back over here and we'll finish off this round. All my single crochets are completed, but as you can see, I have lost the little pointed ends of my sunflower petals. So if you want, you can take a minute right now to pop those through, or you can wait until we complete right at the end. I just didn't want you to be concerned that you had lost all of those little chains that you worked to put in. They are there. You're just going to have to pop them through. All right, so now we are going to work on the next round, and I have my stitch marked right there. I like to start my next round by coming in through the back loop only of my first stitch, pulling through my yarn, and then I'm going to have to take this out in order to do this properly. And then right here you will see that my stitch kind of got pulled tight, but I'm going to go through both of those and come up and do a double crochet in my untraditional way. So if you want to do 3 chains, that's fine, but there's my first double crochet, and we're going to work our first corner in right there. But first, I like to mark my corners. So I have just used a stitch marker so this won't come undone, but what I am going to do is I'm going to count 12 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and that is going to be my next corner. Now I have found if I do this, I'll count them all off. If I do this, it saves me a lot of frustration, and I tend not to drop stitches as often. All right, I've marked them all off. So here's my first corner and here's my 4th corner. So from here, I don't count this. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and my corner is my 12th. So I've got them all placed in the right spots. We're going to start this row with our first corner, completed first corner. So I want to do 3 double crochets. I've already got 1. So here's 2, and there is 3. Then I'm going to do 3 chains, 1, 2, 3, and 3 more double crochets in that same spot. 1. Oh, I'm going to do that one again. I got quite a bit of a gap there. So let's try that again. 1. That's better. 2. And 3. And there we've completed our first corner. Now in our next 2 stitches, we are going to do a double crochet. So there's 1 in the next stitch, another double crochet, that's 2. Then we are going to do 7 half double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then we have 3 spots left. This one is our corner, so we are going to do a double crochet and another double crochet, and then we will work another corner. So our corners are 3 double crochets, there we go, that's 3 chains, 1, 2, 3, and 3 more double crochets. Now before I kind of got a little bit of a gap, and it was because I pulled this up too much, so you want to make sure that that stays tight. 1, 2, and 3. And there we have another corner and our first side completed. Now the next side is the same, 2 double crochets followed by 7 half double crochets and 2 double crochets, and you work another corner. I will let you complete that, this row and the other side, sorry, this side and this side and the final side, and I'll meet you at the end. Before we complete this round, I am just going to show you that you have to kind of see, there is the tip right there at the back. So you're just going to have to make a little bit of a space and just pull it through. But you end up with this great effect where it looks like the petals are just bursting through that round, that previous round. All right. Oh, one more to do. And then let's finish off. I have one more double crochet to complete. So I'm going to complete that. And then I am going to use another invisible join to finish off this round. Now I've marked my first stitch. I don't want that stitch to complete the round. Oh, just a second. I need to cut that and bring my yarn through. All right, and then in that second stitch, I'm going to put my needle right through. And I am going to bring my yarn through and down the back of my last stitch. There we go. And that creates a beautiful seamless join. And I will just work that in a couple, work that through in 2 or 3 directions, and my square will be complete. Congratulations, you've completed your sunflower granny square, and I hope you had as much fun making it as I did. If you enjoyed this tutorial, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to Jackie Wall Studio, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss future crochet and creative tutorials. Thanks so much for crocheting with me today, and remember, just keep creating. There are so many creative tutorials waiting for you. What will you create next?